All right, good morning, YouTube. All right, so I just wanted to do a video on dream fights that I want for 2018. But before I go there, yesterday I had plenty of time to do videos. I wanted to do some videos yesterday. Ended up being a bum. Started watching some fights like all day. I watched like 4 fights yesterday. I went back and watched Triple G against Canelo. Okay, I went and watched that. Then I went and watched Triple G against Jacobs right after that. And then I even went further back and watched Canelo against Lara. Okay. The reason why I did this was because I don't know. I just wanted to see who I thought were the toughest opponents for Triple G and Canelo. So obviously Floyd beat Canelo. I didn't want to watch that fight because that was a clear win. But I mean, I wanted to watch the controversial fights. Okay. Um, If you want me to do a video on that, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think was the toughest opponents for both Canelo and Triple G? Obviously outside of Floyd beating Canelo. Um, just let me know. I might do a video on that. Being I might do one anyway. But let me know in the comments. All right. Um. So I just wanted to do a video real quick of what fights that I would like to see. These are like my top 5 dream fights that can actually happen. These are not just random fights. I mean, fights that are really realistic, fights that have been scheduled before or has taken place before that can really happen this year. Okay, it could happen, regardless if they don't happen or not. These are just the fights that I want to see. I'm gonna do a top 5, right? Starting with number 5, I'm gonna do Adonis Stevenson, okay, against Sergey Kovalev. All right, fight that could have taken place before, back when Stevenson was still with HBO, and even after he left. All right, without talking about all of the politics and everything, I just want to see this fight still because I know Stevenson's like 40 right now. Kovalev lost to Ward, but he already came back and beat Shabursky, in very good fashion. All right. So he's still on point. Stevenson, I'm kind of tired of him seeing he's fighting solid guys at the division, but he's not fighting the top elite guys, the top 5, guys or whatever. And it's just a fight that I want to see because I've always wanted to see this fight. I mean, outside of Andre Ward coming up in 175, this was the fight that I wanted to see, Um, and now that Ward is retired, I don't see why we can't still get this fight. I mean, these guys have both held titles in the division for years now. And I don't see why we can't. I still want to see it. And I know there's a lot of new guys at 175. A lot of, you got Bivol up there. You got, you still got Beterbiev around. And you got a lot of newer guys that's doing their thing in the division and everything. And I want to see them get their shots too at some point. But these two, I still feel are the top fighters at 175, the most proven at 175. And I still want to see this fight. I still want, even in 2018. I don't think we're gonna get it, but it's a realistic fight. So let me just move down the list. That's my number 5. My number 4 is Mikey Garcia against Vasyl Lomachenko. Okay, this fight will happen. If it were to happen, it will happen at 135. This is a fight, like I expressed in another video. I think in between 140 and 126, I think Mikey Garcia has the best shot at being Vasyl Lomachenko. And I also believe that Mikey is a pound for pound fighter. I believe that Mikey can beat everyone at 140, could beat everyone at 135. I think, unless he were to go up to 147, I think he would probably beat everybody in those lower weight classes, okay? And Vasyl Lomachenko is just looking unstoppable right now. I think Mikey is far better than anyone that, Lomachenko has faced. I know Rigo is probably more talented than Mikey, but Rigo is much, much smaller to even compare to Mikey. So I would like to see that fight. I would love to see that fight. You know, I think Mikey has the best shot at beating Lomachenko and maybe exploit some of the things, some of the weaknesses that Lomachenko hasn't really shown that he has. You know, maybe they'll see some type of chink in his armor if Mikey were to fight him. You know, I don't think Mikey will go in there with the same exact approach as everybody else that fought Lomachenko. You know, I still think Lomachenko is more talented, but I think Mikey's size might play some kind of role in that fight. Not much, because I don't really base much on everything with size, but I think you have to factor that in, you know. So I would love to see that fight. That's my number 4. My number 3, Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. All right, another division where, just like at 175, a lot of fights could be made. You know, I think Wilder against Ortiz is great. All right, Joshua fighting Tyson Fury or whoever he decides to fight, all great fights. There's a lot of good fights that could be made, but this is the fight I want to see. You know, I want to see this fight. I think somebody's gonna get knocked out. I don't know who, but I want to see this fight because I feel like, as far as the active heavyweights, you know, these are the people that we all want to see the most. You know, you have Joseph Parker, you have Ortiz, you have Povetkin, you got other people still lingering around. You know, maybe Fury might come back. But this is the fight I want to see. This is the fight that I want to watch. All right, I want to watch Wilder against Joshua. You know, I don't know if we're going to get it in 2018, but we could get it in 2018. You know, I think if Joshua is going to fight Parker next and Wilder fights Ortiz and they both win those fights, this is the fight that we should see. The very next fight. You know, that should be the very next fight. If Wilder is able to beat Ortiz, Ortiz is a legit heavyweight, you know, and a legit good heavyweight. I think Ortiz is very dangerous for both Wilder and Joshua, okay? I think he's very capable of beating them both, all right? The most dangerous fighter up there for those two is Ortiz, in my opinion. If Wilder is able to beat Ortiz, especially, and if he is to knock him out, I want to see that fight with Joshua. And if Joshua is able to beat Joseph Parker, there's no other fight that should take place right away, you know, in my opinion. So I want to see this fight. You know, at the end of the day, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk between the community, the fans, and I'm tired of it. I'm ready for those two to scrap, you know. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is a rematch between Triple G and Canelo. Okay. I really want to see the rematch, you know, because I think I'm curious to see what each fighter is willing to do different to win and secure a win in this fight. You know, I think Triple G edged it 7-5 in my opinion. But I also believe that Canelo, when he was winning the rounds that he won, they were clear rounds that he won, in my opinion. I've never seen anyone look as dominant in a round against Triple G as Canelo. I mean, even Daniel Jacobs, even though I thought Daniel Jacobs did more consistently throughout the fight, I think that Canelo was even punching Triple G at some points in that fight. Whereas Triple G was more consistent. I thought Triple G won more rounds because Canelo would take too many long periods of breaks, you know, throughout certain rounds, you know. But when Canelo was on his A game in a round, when he took a round, when he won a round, it was clear that Canelo was winning, you know, and I thought he was dominant at some times with his counter punching, his hand speed difference, you know, just his slickness and everything. I was very impressed with Canelo when he was winning. But Canelo's biggest issue throughout his whole career has been his conditioning, you know. He just can't maintain it for a long period of time. I think he's getting slowly better at it, but fighting a guy like Triple G, a guy that's able to take your power, you know, you got to be on point when it comes to that. So I want to see the rematch because even though this is another division, like the heavyweight division, like the light heavyweight division, where there's a lot of, Triple G and Canelo may not even be the best at 160. You have a lot of guys at 160 now. It's crowded now. Being that fighters moved up from 154. Lemieux looked his absolute, not Lemieux, Saunders looked his absolute best in his last fight. The division is real right now. But I want to see this rematch because I think this rematch, the winner is still the top dog at 160, whoever wins the rematch. So I really want to see the rematch. And listen, the fight was a great fight. Regardless of the, I think if Levi Martinez didn't score 118, 110, I think people would have been more, cool with the draw. I think the fact that that scorecard was so wide the way it was, that really made people feel that Triple G got robbed because the scorecard, that one specific scorecard, I really wasn't bothered by the other two scorecards. But I thought it was a close fight. All right. And my number one most desired fight I want to see in boxing, and that's realistic, that could happen, is Errol Spence against Terrence Crawford. That's the fight I want to see more than any other fight. I think there's no one. I think Terrence Crawford, who I think is the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now, I think Errol Spence has the best chance of beating him. Some people may say Thurman. A lot of people think Thurman can beat both. I personally believe that these two are the best. All right. Regardless of my personal feelings, I think these two are the best. For Errol Spence to go out there in the UK and beat Kell Brook that way, and Terrence Crawford and all that he's done, there's no other fight I want to see more than this fight. Right now, if anybody could say you could watch any fight, any realistic fight between two active fighters right now, that would be my number one. I want to see that fight so bad because I think the winner of that fight, I already think Terrence Crawford is pound for pound number one, but he hasn't fought anyone like Errol Spence yet. And I don't admit, you have to admit that. All these guys at 140, they were very good. 140, 135, they were very good. But as far as size, skills, power, conditioning, durability, there's no one that Terrence Crawford fought that's even close to Errol Spence, in my opinion. And the same vice versa. I think Errol Spence, beating Kell Brook, I didn't think he would beat Kell Brook. I thought that was too much of a step up for him at that time. But he did the job. It was a close fight up into, Kell Brook slowed down, started getting punished. But I think Terrence Crawford is much better than Kell Brook, and Kell Brook is really good. Like, Kell Brook is one of the best welterweights. I still think he is, but Terrence Crawford is on another level, man. And I think these two, for them two to fight, would be everything that I would want in a boxing match right now. Okay, and it's realistic. I don't think it's gonna happen in 2018. Okay, I just don't. They both seem to be gunning for Keith Thurman. They want Keith Thurman more. If Keith Thurman is going to continue talking the way that he's been talking lately, I think the fight could happen maybe late or early next year. But the way Keith Thurman is talking, he's talking about fighting Sean Porter, maybe having a rematch with Danny Garcia. He doesn't seem like he's really interested in fighting Errol Spence. And when he was asked about Terrence Crawford, he was more like, oh, he got to get a belt. I don't think a belt is going to change anything, I noticed a difference in change in Keith Thurman in the way he sounds, his body language when he's asked about different fighters. He doesn't really seem interested in both. And he's pretty much admitted to it, regardless of what people want to say. So, me personally, I'd rather see these two fight. I don't think neither one of them is afraid of the other fighter. I think there's a mutual respect there. They both prefer to fight Keith because Keith does have 2 belts and he is the most accomplished welterweight right now. But I want to see this fight. I'd rather see the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight. I think that is a more dangerous fight for both. You know, whether you want to talk power, outboxing, who's gonna outbox the other, you know, skills, whatever. You know, I think that's the fight I want to see more than any other fight. All right. So anyway, I'm out. Let me know what you guys think of my list, and also throw in some fights that you want to see in the comments that you really want to see. You know, between anyone that's realistic. You know, something that's realistic, something that can actually happen. You know, don't give me Floyd Mayweather against, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard or anything like that. It's something that's crazy. You know, give me something that's realistic. All right, and don't go too crazy with the weight classes. You know, if I don't want to hear something about a light heavyweight fighting a heavyweight or anything like that. You know, something that's realistic, that's in the same division or around the same division, where a fighter is willing to come down. Like I said with Mikey and Vasily Lomachenko. Mikey said he'll come down to 135. He's fought at 135 recently, and Lomachenko's willing to go up to 135. He's probably going to be going up soon. All right. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.